Call Allah Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'Hashem, Rakal Kadash. Alright, that's who this world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ in the ancient Paleo Hebrew language. Next, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach her well and rule well and oversees the tabernacle of David. Alright, peace and salutations to the sincere elect of Israel scattered across the four corners of the world. And to y'all, we like to say Shalom. Alright, we're coming to you through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemiah Shada. Just bring out more prophecy, showing and revealing who Esau is according to scripture and prophecy, and revealing, like the scriptures say, who the devil is, the so-called white man. So we got this article from RT News, and as you can see on the screen, it basically says the end of American power, right? Is that not what the prophets from the elders on down have been bringing out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiah Shah? The end of American power. It says, don't blame Trump and don't expect Biden to save it either. And that's a cut to you damn, the niggas and the nigga women, who actually believe that your votes is about to change something. Whether it be Trump or Biden, you actually think that your vote is changing something, right? That alone is a cut to that. But reading on through the article, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just basically a few points I want to hit on, and we can go into some precepts. It says, fretting about the U.S. declining global power has long been a parlor game among its establishment thinkers. But there now seems to be nervous consensus in the Beltway that its days of world leadership are indeed fast approaching. All right? The error in such thinking, however, is to blame it all on President Donald Trump for being some kind of rogue leader. Now, because we understand, even the prophets understand that Donald Trump is just a puppet. He's just a mascot. He's just the face of this beast and of this system. He has no true, real power, right? This beast, which we know on down, it really is America as a whole, but it starts with NATO and EU, ultimately. This beast is what is responsible for all the wicked, shit that's basically polluting the whole earth, the whole world.
That's right.
Donald Trump is just the face of it. And even in this article, it's saying the same thing. The error in such thinking, however, is to blame it all on President Donald Trump for being some kind of rogue leader, with the implication that if Democratic contender Joe Biden were to win the White House next week, then, happily, the historic decline in U.S. global power might be reversed. So, as it continues, it says, in the current issue of Foreign Affairs, the elite journal for U.S. establishment debate, an article by Elliot A. Cohen titled The End of American Power, argues that Trump's re-election would usher in permanent decline, right? So, as it's basically saying, is a lot of people think that Donald Trump is going to bring this bitch down, slacking for my French if you can't tolerate it. But, a lot of people are really blaming it on this one individual just because he has the face of the beast. Nah, it's this beast ultimately that's coming down through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemiah Shah. It's not just this one man, Donald Trump. Whether it be Donald Trump or whether it be Biden, either way, this beast is coming to an end. And even the like the article says, even the beast's leadership knows that it's coming to an end. And that's why when you continue on through the article, it says the Foreign Affairs article doesn't actually endorse Biden for the presidency, but the implication is that all of America's current woes, nationally and internationally, will be dispelled by ousting the brash, uncouth Trump from the White House. If only it were that simple. What needs to be realized is that U.S. global power is failing, and that is an empirical process over several years, regardless of which one of the two main parties own the White House, or the Congress for that matter. The decline is chronic, systematic, and structural, right? Which shows you that this has been the way America is coming down now is because of how it was established, right? So it was only time was the only factor to show us that this beast was coming down. Time was the only factor. So it says the body politic of the U.S. is moribund, no longer able to reinvigorate by satisfying the demands and needs of its population. The impotence is a dysfunction of its so-called liberal political system, dominated as it is by powerful corporations, which control the politicians for elite interests, not those of the majority working population. That atrophy is in turn a dysfunction of American capitalism. Neither of the two parties are able or willing to fix it because they are endemic to the system. This is not just an infliction of the U.S. European states also share the predicament, albeit with less global consequences, which shows you that these other nations, how they are operating is completely contrary to how America's operating. The way it was formed and structuralized from the beginning is the reason why it's falling, because they don't want to deter from the original structure, right? So this is ultimately showing us what? It's fulfilling biblical prophecy that America won't stand, but it's also showing us that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all hell is about to break loose for you so-called Americans who think everything is comfortable and that everything is going back to normal.
I don't want to live the American dream.
Right, exactly. And that's nowhere and that's nowhere to be seen in anything that's about to happen. So now through the spirit we can go ahead and bring out this first precept.
I'm gonna go ahead and bring out this is Revelation 12:12.
Bring it up.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
Exactly. So this is ultimately telling us exactly what we just read, that Esau, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, knows that his kingdom is running low on fuel. It's coming to an end. There's not much more he can do to keep it operating, to keep it working, because he sees that he has but a short time. And now we know ultimately through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai that Esau is not just gonna give up on his dollar falling. We know that he has what Americans would call as the ace of spades, or this trump card that's gonna come out and give the so-called white man what they believe is one last chance at surviving and remaining a large world power in the earth, is this this basically RFID chip, right, which is the microchip that they're gonna enforce for their civilians to have as the basis of everything, right? And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, we got a quick clip to show you that Esau knows that this dollar is falling, and they're gonna have to switch over to a digital currency. All right, check this out.
So if you weren't paying attention, on October 15th, the managing director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, she basically came out with an announcement talking about a new Bretton Woods moment. So for those of you that aren't familiar, Bretton Woods was essentially just a global monetary management system that was implemented after World War II. It happened in 1944, which I talked about in a few other one of my videos. So let's highlight this thread here, and I advise you, if there's anything going on in the background, please watch this where you can just focus on the video, because this is very important, okay? So let's get right into it. So Raul Paul said, if you don't think central bank digital currencies are coming, you are missing the big and important picture. This is going to be the biggest overhaul of the global financial system since Bretton Woods. And just so you know, this was tweeted yesterday morning. At the time of this recording is basically the morning of October 19th. These tweets were about 24 hours ago. So speaking of Bretton Woods, this IMF article alludes to a huge change coming, but lacks real clarity outside of allowing much more fiscal stimulus via monetary mechanisms. And tomorrow, which is today at the time of this recording, the IMF holds a conference on digital currencies and cross-border payment systems. But it's not just the IMF. This was first floated by Mark Carney at the Bank of England over a year ago and set the course for a new system. His big idea is a move away from the dollar, using central bank digital currencies so its effects on world trade, flows, and debts was not so pronounced. The European Central Bank weighed in many times in the last year, but the latest is clear. Central bank digital currencies are coming, and soon. Next up was the regulatory changes in the United States allowing for bank custody of digital assets, especially Bitcoin. For example, the acceptance that digital assets are not going away and in fact are the future. And recently, the Cleveland Fed added their thoughts. So I know a lot of people that work at the Cleveland Fed. I'm from Cleveland. This was actually a speech given by Loretta Mester, which happened September 23rd, 2020, and I will be making a separate video highlighting this. So let's get back to this thread. On Monday, which is today, Jay Powell gives his input on central bank digital currencies at the IMF talk listed above. Central bank digital currencies are coming and they will change everything. They are coming under the stealth of cross-border payments, but it means so much more. So if you look at this poll by the IMF, which was held about 24 hours ago, you can see that in 5 years, how will you be sending money to a family member abroad? Is it cash in an envelope? Is it money transfer? Is it with a digital currency or other? And you can see basically 72 out of 100 people answered with a digital currency, and there were 2,800 votes on this poll. So with that being said, they allow the central banks to circumvent the banking and fiscal system and give or take money with tax or transfer payments directly. That completely changes monetary versus fiscal policy forever. Central banks will now be able to manage fiscal policy outside of government balance sheets. They can give, for example, restaurant owners direct payments for stimulus while at the same time charging negative interest rates on larger savers. Again, alluding to all my videos with savers are losers. They can create direct tax payments too in the rails of the payment system. No more IRS is what he poses. So basically, multi-interest rates set centrally will be the norm. No one needs to allow the banks to set interest rates based on capital availability or risks. Central banks can now create a defined cost of capital to whoever they please, and if they get the powers by the governments, which will come. I mean, we've already seen it in the United States, in Japan, in Europe, pretty much all over the world. So don't forget, it absolves any spending responsibility in a crisis from governments, and after 2008 and 2020, they are desperate for it. Again, going back to payments and the pandemic. So it will also push behavioral economics to the forefront based on big data and real-time activity data. Central banks can now create incentives directly as rewards or punishments. They can affect human behavior in a way that is much less blunt than traditional monetary and fiscal policy. There are enormous downsides and there are enormous upsides to all of this. Many will say it's taking even more freedoms away, and in some ways it is. It also gives those disadvantaged by lack of available capital a better chance, a key problem, especially in 2020. Right now, it has to be via debt at punitive rates, but this all changes all of that. Poor can get direct transfer payments with the debt in the central bank balance sheet. It's the key step towards universal basic income, which too is good and bad. So for those of you that are fans of Andrew Yang, you know what UBI is and what is proposed in that. So he's just saying that this is another form of UBI. So, and the reality is we don't have any freedoms from governments or central banks if we operate in the main system, and the big tech firms already have perfected behavioral economics as a way of changing human behavior.
So you've seen it. Esau knows that his system is coming to an end and that the dollar is through. Right? Everyone, even outside of the American government, knows that the dollar is done. That's why they've already taken these steps and ensuring that they have the digital currency to start using, and they're going to start enforcing it in order for you to be a part of their system, a part of their government, and a part of their country, and that leads me to my next point. I want to go ahead to the book of Revelation, chapter 13, and I'm going to just read 16 on down, and it reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark." Right? So what is this going into? This is going into the RFID chip, right? Which ultimately stems from electronic currency, right? Which is becoming the societal norm for everyone, not even just America, right? But it says, continuing, "Or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, right? So this is ultimately going into the mark of the beast, right? The RFID chip that is going to be enforced through Esau, right? Through his military. They're going to enforce that everyone who wants to be a part of their system, who wants to buy food, wants to have shelter, who wants to maintain and have clothes and some form of safety to their understanding, you have to receive this mark in your right hand and in your forehead, right? This is what Esau is going to enforce, and this is what's going to be the new norm for a short time, right? Esau knows he has but a short time, and that's why he's going to come so strong and so hard with enforcing this RFID chip, right?
And also, I'm going to go ahead and bring out another precept for that. Speaking on that, I'm going to go to Romans chapter 8, verse 31 on down to 35.
Bring it up.
Alright, and it says, what shall we then say to these things? If Yahweh be for us, who can be against us? He that spareth not his own son, but deliver him up for us all, he shall Salakim. How shall he not with him also freely give us all things?
So that's going into how, although all hell's about to break loose, we know that Esau is going to lose his mind and is going to want to enforce his system. You know, if the Most High gave us freely salvation, who can take that from us? You know, we don't understand that ultimately the elect, 144,000 on down to the rest of 1/3, they're going to be pardoned and saved and be freely given that salvation, right?
That's right.
Keep reading.
All right, this is verse 33. Who shall lay anything to the charge of Yahweh's elect? It is Yahweh that justifieth. Who is he that commandeth?
That condemneth.
Salakim, condemneth. It is Hamashiach that died, ye rather that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of Yahweh, who also maketh intercession for us.
So we understand that Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, you know, who this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is the tool literally that will be used to make intercession for us so that the elect will be given that salvation, right? So that Israel may stand and have life in these last days, right? And establish the kingdom yet to come, right? It's Yahweh Shai, who Yahweh, you know, ordained to justify his elect, you know? Go ahead.
All right, this is verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall
tribulation?
It's like I'm tongue twisted. It's like shall tribulation or distress or persecution or
famine?
Yeesh, like in famine or nakedness or peril or sword.
So what ultimately is going to keep us from, you know, Yahweh Shai coming back to redeem and save us? Nothing, right? Not tribulation, distress, persecution, famine, nakedness, or peril or sword. That's literally anything that Esau is coming with is not going to be enough to keep us from the salvation that the Most High Yahweh Shai has promised to his elect, to those who love him, right? That's what's beautiful about the scriptures. And we see the fulfillment of that throughout these prophecies, and we're going to literally see it come to pass in these last days. If you don't believe that all hell's about to break loose once this election takes off, you're done. You're done. I already believe and understand that you're done. If you believe that your vote counted and that you actually changed something, you're done. And that goes for all y'all who went to these early elections thinking that, well, if I get here early, they're going to count my vote. That's retarded as hell, man. Esau knows what he's doing. He doesn't give a damn about you Israelites, your so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, right? He doesn't care about what y'all think because he understands how he's about to come and what hell he's about to unleash on the Most High's people, right?
Exactly.
And that brings me, I want to go ahead and bring out Revelation 12. Bring this out real quick. Revelation 12, verses 10 through 12. And it reads, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down," right? Who is that accuser of our brethren? That's Esau, man. That's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man and his people. They've been brought down. They've been casted down. Which accused them before our power day and night, right? Because Esau is the one who persecuted our people, punishing us by the sword, by peril, by persecution, by all types of hell, man. Esau has been the one perpetuating this in the earth. And as it says in verse 11, we're going into basically how it's still not going to be enough. Everything Esau tried to come at us with, the elect are still going to be pardoned. They're still going to be saved, right? They don't have anything to worry about when all hell breaks loose, ultimately. That's why it says in verse 11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, right? Who is that Lamb? That's Yahushua. He came, lived, died, was crucified, died, and was resurrected, and now sits on the right hand of the Most High, right? And it says, and they loved not their lives, Salakim, and by the word of their testimony, which is how they overcame Esau, by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death, right? Unto the death. So that basically means that what? They had to endure, man. It's still not going to be easy. Trust and believe that the way Esau is about to come in, the way this world is set up, it's about to be real life hell. For those of y'all who are kind of on the fence of, well, is this life really hell? Don't seem that bad to me. I can still see where I can live the American dream. I understand some people are going through some stuff, but I can live the American dream. I know this coronavirus stuff is about to pass over. Right. For those of y'all who believe that, woe unto you ultimately. But those of us who love not our lives unto death, they will be the same ones who overcome Esau, the so-called white man, the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. They will overcome him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, which is these scriptures, these precepts.
That's like it, man. I also want to butt in on that. Like, as a matter of fact, right before me and Akim Eliab was bringing out this quick lesson to you, we actually had a nigga woman who really believes that God that they serve in church, no matter what's finna go down, what's gonna go down, she's covered and she ain't gotta worry about nothing. She said the ones who are not in the churches and are not believing in the right God but want to believe in these other religions, they fine. Believe that if you want to.
Right.
But trust me, believe that if you want to. Yeah. I promise you.
Like the scriptures say, see if those same idols of wood and stone are gonna come save you. Roughly paraphrasing, that day of trouble. What, like the Most High says, like I said, roughly paraphrasing, call upon them and see if they'll answer, right? Because the Most High knows, Yahweh Shem Yahshua knows, He's the one who saves and redeems and who gives salvation. He knows this. So when that day comes and that time comes, please call on the name of Jesus.
Right.
Please do it. Please call on Muhammad. please call on
Buddha.
On Buddha. Right. Please. What did I say? Please call on. It's a spirit, I can't remember his name because I was about to get on him. But any other person outside of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, call on that name and see if they come to save you. Please. Right. But I want to go ahead to the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, and I'm gonna read verse 1 on through 11, and it reads. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of Yahweh, right? And there shall no torment touch them, right? So throughout all the hell that's about to come loose, the true elect who believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, they aren't gonna be touched or tormented, right? That's what the scriptures are going into and explaining through the Spirit. It says, in the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery, right? The people who see what the elect are going through, saying, oh, y'all just niggas spewing that folly, y'all don't really know what y'all talking about, y'all devil worshippers, y'all in a cult, all this and that, y'all racist, all this other stuff that they don't really understand. They think that we're the unwise and that we seem to die in their sight. However, it says, and their departure is taken for misery, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace, right? Keep in mind, it said they are the ones who are truly in peace. Not anyone else who thinks that through the name of Jesus Christ they're saved. Not anyone who thinks that everyone, no matter what you're doing, who you are, where you come from, you can be saved as long as you repent. All right, people like that, they aren't going to be the ones who are in true peace and, tranquility when this time comes, right? They're not going to be the ones who are fed when that famine comes. They're not going to be the ones who have a safe place to hide in when destruction comes, right?
Right. That's right, man.
As it continues to verse 4, it says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. right? What is that going into? It's basically going into the salvation that they will receive. They're going to have, once they're saved from these perils and from this time, they're going to shine going into their righteousness, and they're going to run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They're showing you how the Lord has also saved them and given them spiritual blessings and spiritual powers in these days and in these times. This is when, the scriptures say, they will be transfigured and transformed within the twinkling of an eye. In that moment, in that time, the Lord Yahushua is going to make their bodies like unto his body, right? They're going to have that true spiritual power back in the earth. And it says, and when it says, they shall run among the stubble is going to these other nations, these heathen, right? Who are like spit and like trash to the Most High. Compared to them, we're going to be sparks, and the heathen are going to be that stubble. And it says in verse 8, they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, right? Like I said, it's that stubble, these people, these nations. And their Lord shall reign forever, right? Yahushua here in the Bible is going to be back here on the earth, reigning in righteousness forevermore, forever and evermore in the earth, right? That's what this time is going into, of this salvation. And it says, verse 9 through 11, it says, they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, right? And such as be faithful and love shall abide with him, right? For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. For this grace and this mercy and this love and this truth and the understanding and faithfulness is only to the elect, right? His saints. That is not everybody. I don't understand how Christians can read these certain verses and say, yes, this applies to all people. No, because all people don't believe this. All people don't understand this truth, and all people don't love the Most High in faithfulness and in love, in true love, right? So therefore, they won't receive this grace and mercy. It's ultimately been prophesied through the prophets, right? And it's being fulfilled even now to this day. And you're gonna see it happen before your eyes in these last days. And trust and believe these last days, right? Because as you see in these clips, right, Esau is about to come down. The election is only next Tuesday, right? Trust and believe all hell is about to break loose, all right? If you don't have the spiritual eyes to see that, you're done already. Continue on through verse 10 and 11. But the ungodly shall be punished, right? And that's exactly what's coming to America. This ungodly ass nation, these ungodly ass people, they are going to be punished. There is no grace and mercy for them. There's no hope for salvation for them. They are going to be punished. That's exactly what this time is for. It's for punishment, right? According to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken Yahweh Shem Yahushua. For whoso despiseth wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain. Whew. Let's read that again. For whoso despiseth wisdom and nurture, right? Because in order to understand this truth, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you have to be as a babe, right? Who needs to be nurtured, right? You despise wisdom if you don't want to come to the truth as a babe. He is miserable, and their hope is vain, is worth nothing. Their labors unfruitful. Everything you work for and put your energy into and work towards, you won't reap any of the benefits. And their works unprofitable. So, ultimately, if you can't understand this, if you can't understand these precepts, if you can't see this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that's been brought out and laid before you, trust and believe that it's not for you, and that you can hope and trust in this punishment that the Most High has set up for your own wicked ass imaginations. All right. So, with that, we're going to end it. This was just a short lesson, but hopefully through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua was edifying. All right. Call Halal Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rakakadash, Wa Da Baba, Death to America.
Can it be